Hey everyone, gonna do a couple of different videos here in reaction to the CFP. Here's the first one. So Clemson beats SMU in the ACC championship game, and this is, honest to God, of all the things that could happen to the CFP committee, this is about the worst possible thing that could happen because it was pretty simple. SMU wins, Alabama's going to slide into that extra spot that's going to be left open, and Alabama's going to make the playoff. The only opportunity for any sort of chaos to transpire was going to be this ACC championship game. Clemson, a team that's firmly outside of the top 12 right now at 17, just lost to South Carolina, beats SMU. They were up by 17 points in this game. Like, it was not a very competitive game. It was 24-7 at half. But SMU wages an amazing comeback, scores in the last 20 seconds of this game to tie it at 31. You can debate if Rhett Lashley should have kicked the extra point or gone for two. He kicked the extra point. Clemson gets a big kick return, and then they get a quick pass, and it leads to a 56-yard field goal at the gun. Like, you just got to tip your cap at that point. Like, that is amazing for a college kid to bang in a 56-yard field goal to win a championship. Like, you may not like Dabo Swinney. You may not like a lot of what Clemson has been in the last decade, really dominating this sport, and Dabo has become borderline obnoxious. But that was an amazing win for Clemson, and good for them because they have a really rabid fan base. They have run over the ACC. It has not worked out for them in the last handful of years. They've had a couple of down seasons, really since Trevor Lawrence left. And it's really been, they've been trying to figure out who they are. DJ Uyunglele didn't work. Now they're with Cade Klubnik. And this was an up and down season for them. They lose to Georgia early on in the season. They get smacked by Louisville, which turned out to be a bad loss. And then they lose in the last second at home in a rivalry game to South Carolina. And you think Clemson's done. But then Miami shits the bed against Syracuse and allows Clemson to backdoor their way into this championship game against SMU, which leaves open the possibility, okay, what if Clemson wins this game? And now Clemson has won this game because everybody was sort of assuming SMU wins, Alabama's going to get in. Now comes the really fascinating part of this whole thing. Does SMU still make the college football playoff as a two-loss non-champion who played an extra game? Meanwhile, Alabama's sitting at home, 9-3, did not play for the SEC championship, just fresh in everybody's mind, just lost to Oklahoma, who's a 500 team. Does the committee's bias let Alabama into this field? Because we've been over this. I did a video recently right after the CFP rankings, and I said no matter what happens, I have a feeling they're going to let Alabama in. Now, seeing what has transpired, if the committee, there's really they're in an impossible position here. This is a DEFCON, whatever you want to call it. Like, this is a catastrophe for them because if they leave SMU out in favor of Alabama, you are completely devaluing the conference championship. If you leave Alabama out, the most powerful conference in all of college football, their top brand is left out of the playoff. You just expanded this thing. Good luck trying to avoid expansion again, because the SEC is going to do whatever they can to get as many teams as they possibly can in. So no matter what the committee decides to do, it is going to create a ton of controversy. You thought last year was a disaster? Like, last year's probably going to be the highest. This is going to be right there because I do not see any good way that you leave SMU out of this playoff. If it was only based off the first half of this game, I could maybe justify your argument. They were getting killed. Like, they were down 14-0 within the first half of the first quarter. They were down 24-7 at half. And then they would just unbelievable comeback in the last 20 seconds. They tie this game. And then they get beaten on a 56-yard field goal at the gun. That's their first ACC loss this year. SMU has 2 losses. They did not lose a conference game until the last second of the ACC championship. Don't tell me that the ACC is a dog shit conference. It is still one of the Power Four. That means something to get there and get through the regular season unscathed. That means something. And to lose by 3 points at the gun on a last second field goal, I don't care if it's Alabama. And I said, don't be surprised if it's going to happen. And whether you like it or not, Alabama's probably going to be probably put into this thing. I'm sorry. SMU does not have any bad losses on their schedule. The worst loss that they have, I guess you could say, they lost by 3 points to BYU. They lost by 3 points to BYU. That's their other loss this season. They did not lose a single ACC game this year. And you could say, oh, they didn't beat anybody. Like they Pitt. I think they've got Pitt and Louisville that they've beaten, or probably their most noteworthy wins. They didn't play Miami. The unbalanced scheduling, and this is going to become a problem. A lot of people are going to have a problem with Indiana being in this thing, but Indiana's going to make it. But I just don't see a way in hell that you could leave Brett Lashley and the Mustangs. This is one of the most improved teams. They changed quarterbacks early on in the season. Kevin Jennings has come in there and been an amazing story. Like, this team bought its way into the ACC. They paid off their way to get into the ACC, to join a power conference. This is one of the most unheralded stories in America. And almost any other year, it would be justified for the committee to, hey, let's throw and put a better matchup in there. I honestly think SMU could walk into this playoff and honestly have some fun, because their offense is very explosive. That's what you need to have. They put up points. Kevin Jennings threw for like 300 yards in this game. He was amazing in this game. 31 of 50 for 304. Brashard Smith's a great player. They just got beaten by a team that had a miracle last 15 seconds of the game. Yes, they were down, and game control is going to play into this in some capacity too. But seriously, if the committee really leaves SMU out after that, I don't know what we're doing. And I know the SEC crowd and the Bama freaks are going to come after me and basically say, well, it's a bigger brand. I don't give a shit. This is about merit. Don't lose at Vanderbilt. Don't lose at Oklahoma by 3 touchdowns. And you're in this thing. SMU played for their conference championship. They lost at the gun on a 56-yard field goal. That is not grounds to kick somebody all the way out of the playoff. And I'm really scared that we're going to be having this discussion later on Sunday morning and Sunday afternoon all the way through. Somebody's going to get screwed. And you know what? That's the drama of this whole thing, and that's why I'm glad that we have a result like this, so that way there is some drama going into this final selection show. So I'll have another video coming up, because I have a take for y'all. And if you're a Longhorns fan, and I hope my boss, Michael Mazvinsky's not watching this, Texas is going to get in, but I don't know if they're one of the 12 best teams. I don't know if they belong. Anyway, look out for that video on here. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys real soon. Bye-bye.